And there's one particular platform that a lot of people don't utilize for their business. This is not actually a social media platform. This is more like a search engine. Hey there, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Wendy. I am an entrepreneur. I have an online e-commerce store that stocks high quality hair extensions, bundles, wigs, you name it. In today's video, I'm going to talk about something that I get asked all the time by friends, customers, and the likes. And that question is, how can I start my own e-commerce store? In this video, I'm going to be sharing 5 easy ways that you can start your store today. And number 5 is actually very, very important. That is something you should focus on. So you want to definitely watch the end of this video. So before we dive into these tips, I want to say something real quick. You need to work on your mindset. Before starting any venture, any business, know that you're going to be starting from ground zero. If this is your first time going into it, or if you're new to this experience, so you need to work on having the right mindset in order to make sure that your e-commerce store is successful. You need to stay curious and adaptable because this space is constantly changing. New trends are coming up, new technologies are coming up. So you need to be somebody that likes to learn on the go and you're always on the hunt for new information. But for you to be watching this video right now, I can tell that you're someone that is, curious about the industry. So definitely have that mindset going into business that is going to be constantly changing and you will be constantly learning across the way. So before I go any further, I actually have my notes here where I jotted down all the things that I want to talk about today. And these are real gem, guys. So let's dive in real quick. And the first one I want to talk about is choosing a profitable niche. So before starting your e-commerce store, you want to choose a niche that is profitable. You want to do your research. You'd want to check the trends to see if it's an upward trend, if more people are searching for the products or the service that you want to offer, and what is the competition like? What are the competition doing? You want to do all this research to ensure that the niche you're going into is profitable. And for me, I went into the beauty space. And I know before I started, I saw a lot of things about, the hair space is oversaturated, the beauty space is oversaturated. And that is something you will encounter no matter the niche you want to go into, especially if you're going into the beauty niche. That is something you constantly come across. But one thing I'll tell you about choosing a niche is you have to choose your own point of difference. What is going to be different about your product? Even though you're selling the same product that your competitors are selling, how are you going to bring your product differently? How are you going to present your product differently? And that is something that you need to have in mind when choosing your products and when also choosing a niche. You definitely want to research if there's any gap in the industry, in the in the service or the products that you want to offer. So if you're offering, like, you want to sell hair or you want to sell clothes, you can niche down to a specific problem that your customers might have. So you may want to target, shorter women, curvier women, or you want to target African women or women from a certain descent. You definitely want to choose a niche that you can carve out your own identity, your own brand identity, in order for you to stand out in the industry. That brings us to number 2, which is building a strong brand. You want to think about what kind of personality do you want your brand to embody? Do you want your brand to be, funny, flirty? Like, what kind of personality do you want your brand to embody as a business? Because that is going to be your point of difference. And that ties in with the number 1. You need to carve out your own point of difference. And this is going to be narrowed down to the colors that you choose for your website, the kind of things that you create for the kind of content that you create for your social media platforms, the way your website is structured. All this come together to build a strong brand. And there are some brands that you just see a certain color, you can associate that color with that brand because they've been able to build a brand that is easily identifiable, that our customers can say, okay, this is so and so brand, and is very identifiable to their customers, and that actually makes you stand out and very profitable. If you're enjoying this video so far, please subscribe to my channel because I'm going to be delving deep into all things e-commerce in the next coming videos. So let's move on to the next step, and this is choosing the right e-commerce platform for your business. As an online business, your store is your point of interaction with your customers. That is where your product, that's your product home. That is where your product lives. So you want to make sure that whatever e-commerce platform you're choosing for your business is one that aligns with your company brand, and is one that aligns with the outcome that you hope to see from your business. So your website is your digital storefront. So you want to make sure you're using high quality images, easy to consume text, and you want to simplify the checkout process. That is why it's very important to choose the right e-commerce platform. There are a lot of e-commerce platforms available right now, but I think the very popular ones are Shopify, WooCommerce, and BigCommerce. They all have their pros and cons. Right now for my store, I'm using WooCommerce, and I'm going to, do another video on the pros and cons of WooCommerce versus Shopify. But if you're someone that has little to no experience with starting an e-commerce store, or you don't want to deal with the back end, I would definitely advise that you go with Shopify. But watch out for my next video, because I'm going to be doing a more detailed video on how to choose the right e-commerce platform. The next tip on how to build a successful e-commerce business is to leverage social media. In this day and age, we all know that social media is very important in growing brands out there. There are lots of brands that have started from TikTok, from Instagram. I personally started my business from Facebook Marketplace. When I started, I didn't have any website, I didn't have any digital storefronts. I was just putting my products up on Facebook Marketplace. And that actually gave me a real boost before I took the plunge to start my storefront. But thinking back now, it would have made more sense for me to start with an online store. But that's the reason why I'm sharing this video. I'm going to be sharing all the mistakes that I made while starting my e-commerce store. So definitely start with having a good website that highlights your product, and use social media to give that push and that traffic to your website. And I know that there's so many platforms out there, and sometimes it's going to be hard to even keep up with all of them. But one thing I'll say is definitely find what works for your product. Do your research and see. You don't have to be on every social media platform. And there's one particular platform that a lot of people don't utilize for their business. This is not actually a social media platform. This is more like a search engine, and that is Pinterest. Pinterest, guys, is an organic traffic booster. And that is something you want to look into when talking about social media and leveraging platforms for traffic to your website. So unlike, big businesses that have a large marketing budgets for ads and all of that, and even if you have money for ads, Facebook ads and Instagram ads and TikTok ads, you still want to utilize organic traffic, because when you work on building organic traffic, you don't always have to rely on ad spend in order for you to get traffic to your website. And finally, guys, you want to provide exceptional customer service. This is something that is very, very important. It doesn't matter if you have 1 or 2 customers or if you have 1,000 customers. With e-commerce, the sauce is in the repeat customers. So if you have 5 customers that keep coming back to you, and if you have 50 customers that are just like, I'll just buy from her, and you'll never hear from them again, it's better to invest in the 5 that keep coming back to you, because those 5 will tell their friends. They will be like organic referrals for you to their friends, their family members, who they're going to bring customers down to you. So it's very important to provide exceptional customer service to your customers. And for me, how I see it is, for someone to come on my website and buy a product for $100, or I know how expensive these wigs and bundles can be, I am very appreciative for every little sale that I get. Every one sale that I get counts, and I never take my customers for granted. And that is a mindset I adopted from early on, because I know how saturated the online market space is, and to get customers coming to you to patronize you and to buy your products is actually a big deal. So you want to make sure that you treat them exceptionally well, so that they will feel like they got value for their money, and you're building that connection with your customers. So guys, before I wrap up this video, I actually have some statistics here about about small businesses in America, and this is so good. It says, according to the Small Business Administration, there are over 30 million small businesses in the United States, which accounts for 99.9% of all the businesses in the country. So, and e-commerce sales are actually projected to reach $4.9 trillion in 2025. So there is no better time to start your e-commerce store than now. If you're thinking about it, do it. Even if you don't have the money to start, if you don't have all the, the huge capital to start, there are a lot of options right now. There is drop shipping, where you don't actually have to physically buy all your products before you sell to your customers. There are a lot of tools that offer free services in order to run your e-commerce store, and they're very simplified processes to make it easy for you to start your e-commerce store today. So that's it for today's video. I hope you found the tips that I shared in this video helpful. If you have any questions or comments, definitely leave them down below in the comment section and I'll be sure to reply to it. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel to see more content like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.